A very warm welcome to you all. And I'm standing in for the Vice Chancellor. He is traveling. But I was delighted to see that we are talking about 21st century skills. For those of you who don't know about FLAME, FLAME is a pioneer of liberal education in India. We have been doing this since 17 years. And I've been, even before holistic education became popular thanks to NEP, I used to travel across the country telling people what liberal arts and what liberal education means, and especially in terms of 21st century skills. And we were one of the first institutions to break disciplinary silos. And for us, an undergrad student or a postgrad student is not a student of business or not a student of psychology or is not a student of computer science. He is a liberal arts student. And when we talk about liberal arts when we talk about liberal arts, we are not talking about disciplines, but as a framework for education. And that framework is built on the foundation of what is 21st century skills, but what were really, something that the Romans did, or the ancient Indian democratic traditions at the Gurukul level did, was to impart certain basic skills that make a person a good citizen. Good citizenship is an integral part of our program outcomes. And also, there was somebody who talked about social change agents, right? So what are the skills that we talk about in terms of 21st century? And I will, I'm disturbed with technological developments that are happening right now, but what we talk about as 21st century skills are critical reasoning, an ability to read, ability to write, ability to communicate persuasively, not just communicate, but communicate persuasively. And also talk about good citizenship. And when I talk about good citizenship and also these skills, I also talk about resilience. And I think it's extremely important in today's day and age that our children are taught resilience, because I see it lacking. I have 2 young children at home, and I don't see resilience being imparted at the school level. I see prizes being awarded to them for just participation. And there is, and that, I don't think schools are preparing students for life if you award everyone who is participating in the activity. Life is brutal, life is harsh, you better start preparing them at an young age, even if it means the parents are disappointed that the children haven't got it. The other thing that disturbs me as an educator, and something that when we talk about 21st century skills, are the developments that we have seen in the past 2 years. This is the rise of generative AI, right? And I, as a physicist, feel that there were 100 years ago, quantum mechanics happened around in the third decade of the 20th century, because of which you're seeing all the developments, all the technological advances happen due to the discoveries of laws of physics between 1920 and 1930. We are living through another transformational moment in our lives. Harari describes what we are going through right now as the human operating system, which is the language, has been hacked. Language has been critical for humans to be the apex predator or the apex animal in our society, right? And if that has been hacked by something that is non-biological, then we need to really think about what is it that we want our students to do, what we want our children to do, what are the skills that they should imbibe. And when I talk about language, this is anecdotal. Day before yesterday, I work with generative AI a lot. I build chatbots, and this is something that I do. 2 days ago, I had the shock of my life. So that the new ChatGPT 4 Omni has been released, 4.0, right? So as a physicist, I'll tell you, my graduate days were the most traumatic for me. Okay. So when I went to masters and we had to do a course in classical electrodynamics. And the standard book for classical electrodynamics, it's like the birds training for seals. The dropout rate is very high because this book, makes people humble and realize that they are not, good enough for pursuing a career in academics. Each problem takes around 3 to 4 days to solve, and it's a very fat book. And you have to solve many of these problems, in no time. Every week there'll be assignments and so on, right? 4O has been, ChatGPT 4 Omni has been described as a reasoning engine. Till then, it was just generating, ChatGPTs were just generating text, but it couldn't reason well. Now, the shock curve was, it was solving problems that used to take us days in 20 seconds. This is mathematics being done at the graduate level. When I say graduate, this is, PhD, these are PhD level problems. And I'm working on 4 papers right now. And these are much simpler papers than what the textbook problems are, at least the classical electrodynamics. That scared the hell out of me. My wife is an applied mathematician. I called her and said, look at this. Right? What do we do as educators in the classroom now? When things can be done in 20 seconds, which we took years together to master, what are the skills that we need, that I need? I'm close to retirement. But what our children need to lead their lives productively and maybe with a sense of purpose. That's something that I wish, and I hope that you deliberate upon. So when we talk about 21st century skills, those skills are changing at every moment. Ability to write well is no longer, you don't need to master the craft of writing well. You can write it in the style of your favorite author using generative AIs. And this bothered us a lot. As a dean, I brought in a policy at Fleam that we can't run away from the future, and the future was generative AI, and that's actually the present right now. We said the faculty just can't say you can't use generative AI. We brought in a policy and said you have the freedom to use it to whatever extent that you want. And when we talk about equity, generative AI, in terms of large language models, in terms of reasoning engines, can bring equity at scale. Because if you have a personal tutor who is non-judgmental, who is available 24/7, who can give you lesson plans, who can give you, who is, when I say non-judgmental, students don't ask questions in class because they think they'll be called a fool, right? And these are things, if a machine can do it, and of course, warped in a human personality, why not, right? The phone brought in financial inclusion, the smartphone that we have. This is the only way to achieve quality across the board, because the same resources that I have as an elite institution that I can make available for students, the same resources can be available for probably the most resource lacking institution in the country. It doesn't cost much, right? And I hope that these things are debated, because I, as an educator, am bothered about what I should be doing next year and what are the skills that I should be imparting to the students when those skills are coming in ready-made and handed over. So I hope you have a great conference, a very productive one, and an enjoyable one. I think that's more important. And thanks for coming. Thank you.